Hello, Commanders, and welcome back to my tutorial series on how to play Fortnite Save the World. And in today's episode, we are going to take on Homebase Storm Shield Defense number 8. Then, upon completion of it, we will receive both X-Ray tickets and V-Bucks, because we do in fact have a Founders account for this series. Also want to point out, you will receive mini reward llamas. But otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and load in here, and we will handle this run. I hope you enjoy.
We're ready to expand again. When you're ready to start the fight, select Expand Shield from the Storm Shield console.
All right. When it comes to your Storm Shield Defense number 8, there will not be a requirement of needing to place an additional amplifier. So as such, you will be just going over here to your Storm Shield menu, and you will begin the defense. As a reminder, if you've been following along with this series, my recommendation is if you cannot solo your Storm Shields, the game is telling you that you should not complete them. Of course, to each is their own, but that is my recommendation to you. So what we're going to do instead is I'm going to show you how to go ahead and run the defense and what I like to do during. Also want to note that once you complete your Stonewood storyline, that I do recommend that you finish up with your Storm Shields 7, 8, 9, and 10 here in Stonewood, and then start working an endurance here actually before you move into Plankerton. Now, one thing that I often see when defenses are occurring is the players will be out in the field or on top of their trap tunnels and will be shooting handheld schematics, wasting durability on their weapons and or ammunition. My recommendation, because everything and anything that you farm during the active defense will respawn or regenerate, I would farm, and believe in the builds that I've provided to you so far along the way. Now, if you have, for some reason, just found the series here and have not seen the previous builds, I do have them all available on a How to Play Fortnite Save the World tutorial series playlist, and that link is in the description here below. You can go on back there and follow along and catch up to where we are at. I also want to point out my recommendation with your hero loadout and with some of the first epic flux that you receive in the game, of course dependent upon when you are playing or catching up with the series. I do like Breakbeat Wildcat for the battle beat, so it can put you into Rock and Rift, and as you can see here, our pickaxe is working much better. All right, but please, you have additional defenses coming. You are going to have to farm for the resource in order to complete them. Take an opportunity here to do so. And all of the resource that we are farming right now will be included and or added to your permanent inventory, with the exception of the consumables. So what do I mean by that? Inventory wise, your consumable section right here. So of course, any coconuts, slurp juice, corn, mushroom, you can use during the defense. But it won't go with you. But everything else that you are gathering here will. Also want to point out that at level 70, you will unlock your slow field. I do actually highly recommend that you utilize it during your defenses. One of the absolute best gadgets, if not the best, in the game. And absolutely one of the most dominating weapons in all of Save the World. Now, when it comes to the defense itself, my recommendation too would be to place your base on the area they are trying to attack most, which would be your amplifier. Right. In the builds, I've provided a area there. You can see the tier 2 stone of where you can put the base. But truly, I would recommend to just go ahead and put it back on the amp. And then right here, middle center. And you can actually, if you have, which I recommend, honestly, you have your coconuts, right? You can just go ahead and eat your coconut, drop down your plasma pulse, and then just middle center with the slow field. And that is going to allow your trap tunnel and all those traps to work that much better. All right? But anyway, we're going to keep it going here, and I'm going to farm. And my recommendation when it comes to farming is that you farm directly across from the attack. All right. I would not recommend that you're out in areas away or at angles. Just go straight back from the objective this way or across and just farm everything that you can. That way your trap tunnels will work as intended and the enemies will not get interested otherwise. So, just some information I like to pass along when we're doing this. So again, in the previous episodes, I have often mentioned, suffer a little early, succeed later by putting in that extra work. And when we do those builds, now you're going to see how easy it is, right? Everything is built and trapped and ready to rock. You just come in, activate and defend. Get your farm on. Of course, if you hit your weak points, it's much better always. But my goal here in what we have, shown you to this point, just 3 traps across the board for this entire build now. Remember, if you come in with any traps that you have found in missions, you don't keep those. But otherwise, we have only utilized the common wooden floor spikes and the uncommon ceiling gas trap and wall darts throughout. No other traps have been placed in this entire build. The reasoning behind that is I want to not only prove and show to you that you do not need higher rarity items or overpowered schematics in general to be successful in Save the World. All right, but more importantly, it's relatable because I know for sure everybody out there that is watching right now and reaches this point in the game will have those 3 traps. Right? And that's all it takes. You can clear them all without taking a single shot with a handheld weapon, use of ability, and or defender. And that's where you want to be as a trapper and builder when you reach this point. Truly. If you can start understanding, your trap tunnels, block offs, synergy with traps, how valid and viable the wooden floor spikes is, and how it makes all other traps that much better. These are just some of the techniques of the many that we've been passing along in the series so far. But please do not stand around. All right, I do want to point that out. Do not miss this opportunity to put resource, into your inventory. Gotta stress that for you. Also, once you place your base, before you move that base, make sure you collect it if you have your recycling, which I'd recommend that you do in fact have. So we will go and head now back. About 30 seconds to go in between the waves. And or once you start getting down to your eliminations. All right. Go ahead and collect. Go out into the field here, or through the tunnels, and just collect any resource that might be waiting for you here. As you can see, we have some. All right. So we have everything going here. The loot can actually disappear. From you if you leave it on the ground. We don't want that to occur. All right, so you're collecting, and then we'll go ahead and move over to our other base. And we have another elimination wave now. Now, as we move forward, the defense that you are seeing here, all right, will be no more. So you will be able to remove this, because once you place your flex amp, which I recommend you place out here in the field, instead of up on the hill or down in the mine. But once you place that amplifier, like the other amplifiers that we've placed, you stop getting certain directional attacks. In this case, this will be one that we'll be removing. And then you'll take that resource, place it back into your inventory, repurpose it to the new build on the field out there. And then we're just going to go ahead and shoot on back here and get some more farming in.
not so fast.
And we have shown you so far, step by step, you know, build by build and trap by trap, everything that has been placed here.
Oh, sorry.
And this series will be intended to take you through the entire storyline of Fortnite Save the World, to include all of your Storm Shield defenses, even up in Twine. But once that quest line gets done, hopefully, if you have been following along and, you know, acquired some of the tips, tricks, and recommendations I've provided to you, because of course, we all have different play styles. There will be some things that you do want to, you know, adapt to your gameplay, some that you won't. I understand that for sure. Wouldn't have it any other way, to be honest with you. This is just here to help you try your very best to bring out the best player in you and best, you know, teammate that you can become. That's my goal. All right, so we'll be going down on the drop amp or Charlie next, but let's collect. We have before.
Nope.
Love seeing this free resource available.
Oh, sorry.
All right, another timed wave now. So we're alternating between timed and elimination waves.
Yeah, not. Got ya.
And what I'm doing here is going to be the case throughout with your Storm Shield defenses. We are pretty much going to make these across the boards completely and entirely AFK for you. To include your endurance build. And I do want to point out that I have the entire Stonewood endurance. Step by step, all building, trapping, operation, right? All of it explained to include your material grinder.
Nope.
It's waiting there for you, my friends. And what you will do is you'll utilize the traps that you currently have. All right? And then once you start earning, you know, higher rarity or better rolls, then you will, you know, substitute them out. But otherwise, I have the build there for you. Place what you have and just work, you know, toward the items that I recommend. And be reminded when you run your Stonewood Endurance, it's one of the most important things you will do early in your journey, especially when it comes to your home base level there, aka count level. Truly, even if you can only clear 10 or 20 waves, it's not a bad thing. Clear what you can and work your way toward the 30. And sometimes those waves 21 through 30 can actually work against you because they're so time consuming. Might be better to stop at 20 anyway and just restart it. But that's a playstyle choice. Remember too that these builds will help you with your daily war games, which I also recommend when you're in Stonewood every day to do your war games for the 250 gold because gold is so hard to come by. We don't want to miss that. We need a lot of planks right now. We have the wooden floor spikes. We have that wall darts. We need the resources for our, you know, gas traps as well. Remember, too, to farm the mine out if you need some extra material. And I'm going to go show you what I mean here. Just a moment. And very few people will actually take advantage of the farming that can be done when you're in here, while this is running. As always, we're multitasking in Save the World. If you can be a good multitasker, you really will save yourself a significant amount of time in your journey. Right? You can't search anything here, unfortunately, but so I just leave it.
Sorry.
But with your base, depending on where you're placing it now, you can walk away with a nice stack of material. And, you know, when you start seeing material dropping on the ground like that, that's something that you need to go ahead and take care of right away, right? So what will we do here? Well, we'll re-access and place into our storage the extra wood that's been dropping. Because we don't want that to, you know, happen. Also, be reminded that you can store, and my recommendation over here, if you want to free up your storage and instead make full upgraded block-offs in this section here and work your way up with different material. That's a really nice way to store a resource here. You have plenty of, you know, building pieces at this point in your journey. Okay, so we'll go collect for a moment. And then while we were over here, we're finishing. I would just go place your base.
Nothing personal.
And again, you'd farm directly, you know, behind or across. But I do want to show you once again the mine over here. Do not destroy the mine. Whatever you do. When it comes to like these mine carts, for instance, or the loot that can be had. All right. So you can hit this stuff and take metal with you. Nuts and bolts, mechanical parts, as you can see here. So leave the mine carts, leave that metal here if you want to farm during. And as we move forward into the, you know, our journey together here, other mines will be fantastic for you for sure. All right, but take a good look around the map and take advantage of your opportunity would be my recommendation. All right, and then otherwise, though, we'll go back to where our base is. Be reminded, if you want to, you can throw your slow field down again. But it's pretty much game over for him. Okay, so you eat your coconut. All right. Drop this. Drop your slow field. Now, durability will be a concern for you. Again, I do like in your loadout that you have tough traps or machinist harper. You'll have your passive healing at this point. Again, we're talking base game items or items that I recommend Flux or a voucher on only. We do have the Go on Coconuts as well with that Crossbones Barrett. Based on the season that you are playing. Again, I do recommend with use of your Epic Flux, Crossbones Barrett and Breakbeat Wildcat early in your journey. Unless, like right now in this season, Crossbones is available. So we do not have to use that. All right. But that is your defense for Storm Shield number 8. We will load out here, take a look at our rewards, and then we'll be seeing you for Storm Shield Defense number 9. So when it comes to your rewards now, you will receive XP amounts, mini reward llamas, and then as mentioned, if you are a non-founder, you will receive only X-ray tickets. But if you happen to have a founder's account, like we do for this series, you'd receive both X-ray tickets and V-Bucks. But with all that being said, and until our Storm Shield Defense number 9, we'll see you soon, Commanders.